Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another EU4 video with your host, Oscar Mike. Today we're going to be trying something a little different. We're going to be attempting to win the 100 Years' War as England on very hard difficulty. This is going to be a first. I usually don't play the game on very hard, especially when I'm making these types of videos. I'm not even necessarily sure this is doable, but it's sure going to be fun finding out. So in my head, I sort of formulated a vague idea of how this is going to work. It is essentially a progression over my previous ideas doing this normal difficulty. The main theme is we just need to maintain a technology lead with France. And if we can do that and hold on to as many of our fortifications in the European continent, I think we have a decent chance at winning this. Now, central to that, the very first thing we're going to need to do is win naval superiority. So I'm only selecting one advisor because I'm extremely concerned about how long this war could go on for. As you can see, I'm deleting all my unnecessary fortifications, trying to accumulate as much money as possible and not waste it on fortifications that are not necessary. I'll send my trade ships out to protect trade. Pretty standard stuff here. This is essentially the same opening I would go for every time. In terms of issues through Parliament, I mean, I don't know. Nothing here is particularly useful at the start of the game. We have an option here to gain an Admiral with 45 tradition. I don't see that too often, actually. That's not too bad, but we also have the option. We'll close that for now, and we'll come back to it, because I think we should have an option for Crown land ownership. And assigning Parliament seats, all the usual stuff. Now, this is important stuff. We're going to rival France, Scotland, and Denmark. There it is. So, we're not going to be relying too much on diplomacy. We're just going to be issuing embargoes, fabricating claims, and if we can call Portugal in a call to arms, we will try, but that's not by any means guaranteed. Now, this is the first significant departure over all my sort of previous concepts. We are going to build a flagship straight away on the 11th of November. And as you can see here, we're going to select wooden wall, naval tradition. And the reason for that is pretty simple. There are three sort of scenarios that can happen here. We can find ourselves subsequent to the surrender of Maine, we can find ourselves at war with France and Scotland, France and Aragon, or some combination of France with Milan or Genoa. If we're fighting France and Scotland, or even if we're fighting France and Aragon, we're going to need a powerful fleet. Oh, lollards, hold on a sec. I think yeah, I think we're gonna go with let them be. We could we could choose stop the heretics, but then we're gonna have to deal with an inordinate amount of lollard rebels later on, and I just think that's gonna add an extra level of difficulty. So yeah, if we weren't doing such an ambitious goal of winning the 100 Years' War, we would select something else. Looking for decisions here. Yeah, Crown land ownership. That should be pretty easy to titles. Yeah, we got that. So yeah, things are looking okay at the start. We have War of the Roses ticking down. That should occur in around 1448, I believe, which is in about 4 years' time. We're going to build spy networks in France. That's very important, especially when it comes to sieging down their fortifications. We got our flagship 600 days away. We're not going to recruit any troops yet. We are going to be relying upon mercenaries a lot. So yeah, the 100 Years' War, I have seen a lot of people, when they're attempting this, try and get an heir by accumulating royal marriages with Henry VI of Lancaster. I prefer not to do that because I think we really need to get rid of our 000 faction leader as soon as possible, and that's what we're going to try and do. Again, if our goal is to out-tech France, what we really need is, in addition to focusing on military technology, we really need a leader with at least some military tech points. And we're going to recruit some additional cavalry. Army composition is going to be in what my standard army composition for Western faction is in this part of the game, which is 12 infantry, 6 cavalry. I know a lot of guides out there emphasize having a little more infantry, a little less cavalry. I disagree with that, because I know for a fact that manpower is going to be our limiting resource, not money, and if we have more cavalry, we're likely to have a higher probability of winning any given battle, and we've got a better chance of conserving more manpower whilst fighting those battles. So for me, definitely 12 infantry, 6 cavalry is the optimal way to do this. Although you can probably run this with 14 infantry, 4 cavalry as well. Yep, we're just ticking down the days here. We didn't get a discipline advisor, which I wasn't too happy about, but we ended up getting a faction leader with +5 discipline, which kind of counteracts that. Although we can't rely upon that faction leader for long, because we get the Wolf Rose's decision. He is going away. He's going to the guillotine, it would seem. Yeah, I'm just going to make my 100 Years War template so we can conform to template later on. Yeah, things are going pretty nicely at the minute. Our main goal is going to be just conforming to these templates, waiting for the surrender of main decision. That's sort of the way I like to start 100 Years War. 25 military power, sounds nice. Did lose a bit of prestige though. Aha, here we go. Okay, that's right. We're straight into this. The stretch twig of peace is now at melting point. So 24th of July, always make a note of that, because we have 3 months to make a decision. Hire mercenaries now. We did get mercenaries, some very nice mercenaries here, because they are very good leaders. I don't think we need to recruit one just yet. We can afford to wait a little bit. I mean, we got 2 goals here. We have to tech quickly, and we have to stop the French from sieging down any of our fortifications. That may sound hard, because we're playing on very hard difficulty. The French are going to have probably about 100,000 troops, along with the allies, when we start off. But I think I have a plan. I think I can just about do this. So we are just going to wait. Our flagship's on the way, and things are looking pretty sweet. Assign an admiral. We get a really nice admiral. I'm not always the luckiest with my admiral, but you can't complain about an admiral with 4 fire. And some rebels. Well, that's not going to be too much of an issue. We'll take that. Take that in a moment. And we're at 12k manpower. We want to try and avoid... In all my previous videos, I've had a terrible tendency of just essentially taking out just inordinate amounts of loans constantly. We can take this decision now, actually, because I can see the French fleet's about to enter St. George's Channel. So that's just got us nicely, and we've perfect timing. Look at that, 10 days until our flagship's out. That flagship is going to make sure that we can deal with the Franco-Scottish Navy, because the Scottish start with an insane 5 heavy ships and very hard difficulty. It's ridiculous. They almost have as powerful fleet as we do. And the French start with 4 heavy ships, which is more manageable. So hopefully we win this battle. Our flagship's going to reinforce. Oh, get in there. Yeah, looks like it's going to be an easy mop-up. So, and not forget to put defensive edicts up in our fortifications. Again, I am fairly confident, if I've got my strategy formulated correctly, I'm fairly confident we're going to be able to hold on to all those fortifications. Okay, Aragon is in the war, so like I said, usually you either fight France and Scotland, France and Aragon, or France and Milan, and or Genoa. fighting France and Aragon is probably a little more difficult, and I'll explain why. We don't get to invade Scotland, defeat them, and humiliate them for extra power projection, which would increase our military technology speed, assuming we get above 50. Aragon also has a lot of troops. I mean, you can see them there in the board. Okay, yeah. Alright. So no, not the ideal start. We have activated the higher level of difficulty because we are now going to have to defeat on land, very hard difficulty, a combined Aragonese French army, and that's going to push them way above 100,000 troops. But I'm still somewhat confident we can pull this off because I do have a strategy in terms of how I can attrit down their units. Oh, now here we go. Margaret of Anjou, I almost never get this event. So what would you do in this situation? To me, it's obvious. We are not going to let her rule. I'm going to select her words are wise. And the reason for this is quite simple. The War for Roses is going to occur anyway in only a few months. And so that faction leader gets negated almost immediately. If you work it out, if you calculate it, the extra 100 monarch power in each category is vastly superior to having that faction leader reign for a little while. And yeah, you can see 20,000 troops in Laborde, 20,000 troops in Caen, 15,000 in Calais. You're probably wondering to yourself, how on earth are we going to get ourselves out of this situation? Well, it's time. The first important thing is mercenaries. We've been very lucky. We've got a mercenary company, only 8 infantry, but with 2 fire and 6 shock pips. That is a big deal. That's going to give us a modest advantage over the main French general, Jean Buret, who has 4 fire and 4 shock. Because of course, at this stage in the game, shock modifiers are the way to go. So we got those mercenaries. We're going to attach 6 cavalry and 4 infantry to that unit. And we're going to accept the brunt of our manpower losses on the mercenary regiments. That's going to keep as much of our manpower preserved as possible, because we don't know how long this war is going to go on for. Yeah, okay. The French are already making some decent progress in sieging down in Calais. My whole strategy revolves around not allowing them to do that. So we're going to have to fight our first battle here. And we have to pick our engagements very carefully. I don't think you can afford to lose even a single battle in order to be able to pull this off. I think losing just one battle could be enough, because that will deplete our manpower below a critical level where we're no longer able to get a critical mass of troops to actually successfully contest our territory in France. Fortunately, there are a few tricks you can do to really mess with the French and mess with the AI, which is going to help us in our goal of maintaining our fortifications. I'll show you that in a moment. But right now, I'm just trying to ascertain which battle should we take first, the battle in Calais and Laborde. So, as you can see, I'm conducting an amphibious landing here. We're getting pretty decent rolls. I'm not expecting to stack wipe this army, but if we can end the siege, reset the siege progress, and get out of here, we can significantly delay their objective of sieging down our fortifications. And that's going to be important, because one of the things we want to do is keep the French and Aragonese armies split between the north and south, so that we can use our superior mobility in terms of our amphibious transports to pick and choose our engagements where we have the highest probability of succeeding. So things are going reasonably well. I did suffer a few casualties there, and your manpower starts off so depleted with England. It's part of the reason it makes this so difficult. Going to send an insult to Denmark. Actually forgot to do that. That's going to boost our power projection just a little bit. And we're going to take this battle now in Calais. And we're going to reinforce immediately, get as many troops there as possible. And it looks like we're getting some pretty decent rolls. Wow! Okay. I was not expecting that. Yeah, not bad. So we actually that is phenomenal. We actually managed to stack wipe them in Calais. That is not supposed to happen. I've never seen that before. It didn't look like we had enough morale disparity to be able to pull that off, but somehow I guess it was the extra reinforcements. We were able to get them to a critically low morale level, and we probably got some good rolls there. So that is helpful. We've reset the siege progress on Calais and Le Bourd. We still have to deal with Caen, because they are sieging down that, and it's down to 21%. But so far, so good. Influenza. Okay, let's get rid of that decision. Nothing we can do about that. So yeah, again, a common theme. Yeah, Caen's looking pretty dangerous here. Common theme of my videos is I'm sort of notorious for taking out a huge amount of loans. We're going to try and avoid that this time. Avoid going into like Lehman Brothers type leverage. We want to keep our economy as good as possible, because I know that this war can go on for a very long time when you're doing this in very hard difficulty. If we can't win with on military tech level 4, we'll have to win in military tech level 5. Caen is now at 7%. I'm thinking we have to take this engagement. This is going to be costly. We have split them up, and we're not fighting French troops, so we're fighting weaker troops. We will be able to reinforce with another 18,000 troops. We're not going to get it stacked. Maybe, actually, if we reinforce? No. I'm pretty sure it's a retreat. Okay, shows what I know. I swear they've changed the EU4 system. I mean, I haven't played this game in a few years now. I'm a bit rusty, but I'm pretty sure that never would have used to happen. But I'll take it. That's the second stack wipe on an admittedly less important army. But I mean, we're off to a great start here. We're doing way better than I expected. Yeah. So if you look at Calais, I'm just like in the pits of despair here. By the French calling an Aragon is really difficult because they have at least 30,000 troops. You can see there, they have 80,000 troops. Oh, War of Roses, never mind. 062540. That is not what I wanted. Okay, that's the first unfortunate event. 062 is not a good faction leader for this event. 2 military power and 20,000 rebels we have to deal with. And I'll explain why. Normally when you have 2 leaders to choose from, and the fact that I know that, generally speaking, the War of the Roses faction leaders get bonuses to their monarch power inherently, you usually expect better than like 6-2. You really want an above average leader. So with only 2 monarch power in military, by the way, we're not going to fight this, we're just baiting off the objective. You see, if I feign a landing in Le Bourd, so the French army retreats, the reason they do that is because they know that Le Bourd has a forest, and they know I would get the bonus modifiers from that event. So they want to retreat from terrain that is necessarily disadvantageous to them, so they'll actually break their siege down of fortification. So we can just keep doing that over and over again to stop them sieging down Le Bourd. We still have to fight battles over Calais and Caen, though, where there's grassy plains, because we're not going to be able to use the same technique to deal with that. So yeah, I'm still a bit irritated about getting such a crappy faction leader. That probably means we have to win sooner rather than later. If we try and go to military tech level 5, we may not get there ahead of the French. So I think we have to kind of tech up to military tech level 4 and try and just blitz down the AI as fast as possible. So Calais, I mean, now we're going to use 25,000 troops in Calais. I think I'm debating whether or not we take this engagement. We've still got time. You never want to take out the 100 Years War's rebels immediately, obviously. And the reason for that is, if you do that, you won't kill the Pretender, and they'll just rise up again. You want to wait at least a year until you deal with the main 100 Years War army stack. And this is one of the nice things about 100 Years War. Oftentimes the rebels spawn in Euro provinces that are occupied by France. And as you can see there in Maine, those 100-year war rebels are going to inflict some manpower losses on the French Armagnac forces, so that's pretty decent. So 100 Years War isn't all bad. Another reason why I personally like to have this event occur, because I actually think it's not necessarily dead. I actually think it can help facilitate your 100 Years War gameplay. Oh, we destroyed a heavy ship. That's good. French fleet's not really an issue anymore. Aragonese fleet, I'm not expecting it to be in the Atlantic, so we don't really have to worry about that either. Yeah, again, the objective here is we don't just want to win. We're taking this battle, by the way. We don't have any more time. Yeah, we are suffering actually more casualties. We are going to reinforce. I mean, atrocious rolling. 10,000 casualties. Well, and more rebels. Well, that was not a great battle, but I had to sort of force the issue there because, again, the whole point about this strategy is we have to prevent them from sieging down any of the fortifications. We can't afford to suffer the negative war score. If we want to blitz this, which is what we're planning on doing, we want to take Chartres and Paris, siege down both those fortifications, blockade the French ports and occupy a few provinces, and that should bring us over the necessary war score needed to force their surrender. So we did suffer a lot of casualties there. I mean, I'm not I'm not jazzed about taking that engagement, but you know, we just have to buy a bit of time. We're very close to military tech level 4, and I'm going to take out this rebel army in Cumbria, because if we let that rebel army move, I bet you it's going to move into Northumberland and therefore augment that other rebel army, and then we would have a 25,000 man stack to deal with, and I'd rather not deal with that, so we're going to take down that rebel stack, and we should win that without too many manpower losses. Yeah, looking pretty decent. And we've won the Battle of Côte d'Argent. That's basically the French fleet defeated. I mean, what, we're at 1448 now? We're making decent progress. This is an easy victory. I'm going to take that. This is probably a stack wipe, even though we're not getting necessarily great rolls. Okay, there's alright. It doesn't matter. We're going to get Henry Tudor anyway, so we just ignore that. Le Bourd is now down to 0%. I'm going to have to move this army south, and we're going to have to deal with that soon. I'm trying to keep as much money as possible. I don't want this to be one of my notorious videos where I just take out an insane amount of loans, like I say, Lehman Brothers leverage to get the victory. I want to actually do this in like a more sane method. I thought I just defeated the French fleet there. I guess it wants some more. So yeah, I'm a bit worried about what's happening down in the board at the moment. It's at 28%. I don't think we can afford to lose this siege battle. We're going to call in Portugal. That's going to be really helpful. Oftentimes you can do this if you stack the balance of power in your favour, which we've done by inflicting all these casualties in the French. And the French army does retreat from Le Bourd. I don't even have to force the issue here. They're leaving because they sense that they're going to have negative combat modifiers because there's a forest, and they leave on their own accord. Yep, things are looking pretty nicely. In Northumberland, the siege progress modifier is now at 0%. So we're going to have to deal with this. We have passed the threshold where if we defeat the rebel army, I'm not sure if we passed it just yet, but we're very close because I obviously forgot the timers. I think though, if we take this battle now with rebels in Northumberland, I think we will kill the Pretender, and the 100 Years and the War of the Roses, excuse me, should end. So, I mean, let's give it a shot. Yeah, if it's 1449 and it's May, we should be good here. Hopefully. Save us a lot of hassle, to be honest. You see his strategy isn't particularly complicated either. It's a very simple strategy, much simpler than my strategies in some of my previous videos. It just revolves around getting to military tech level 4, when we will attempt to blitz down the French, take a few decisive battles, and quickly siege down Paris and Chartres. 7%. We've got to go now. I am not even risking 7% because well, okay. We're gonna hit 21%, I think. Yeah, so we mistimed that. So we're sending our troops in now, making sure they arrive at the same time. I want my mercenary troops to take the initial manpower losses. Yeah, this is gonna be fine. When you get a 5-0 roll. And it's August 1449. Yeah, that's the 100 Years' War. We gain the stability and gain the prestige. Another reason why I like fighting the War of the Roses, I mean, you get better faction leader, you get stability, you get prestige, and it honestly isn't that difficult to deal with if you know what you're doing. Perfectly manageable even when fighting Aragon in France. I'm going to take those decisions. And once again, for like, for the 4th time, I think, isn't that they've breached the fortifications in Calais, so that's going to force another major battle here. We are very close though to getting military tech level 4. It's a dynasty, yeah. There we go, Henry Tudor, an extra 1 stability. So it's 2 stability you get from winning the 100 Years' War. And actually, look at that, not a bad faction leader. 232, and the 2 siege is going to be very useful for us. We're going to use that, and there we go, military tech level 4. So we have a 1 level military tech level advantage. We know we have a crappy faction leader with only 2 military monarch points, so we're not going to be able to out-tech the French to military tech level 5, but we have been able to out-tech them to military level 4, and that informs my whole strategy. We've got to win now. Because when France gets to military tech level 4, I don't think we can do this anymore. We need to keep a disparity in military tech level, so I think we're gonna have to start being more aggressive and taking some big battles here. So this is the exciting part of the game. We'll take this battle and immediately reinforce. We're getting pretty decent rolls, to be honest. And this army's not gonna get stat right. Nope. See, I can't judge this anymore. I swear they've changed the mechanics for this, because because we inflicted a lot more morale damage in some of the previous battles, but you know, whatever. If you can't predict all the mechanics with 100% certainty, well, that's not exactly a bad thing in terms of gameplay. So now Con is down at 21%, Laborde is down at 35%. Con is going to be an issue. We are going to have to take another insane pitched battle here. Just a brute force battle with our mercenaries. I'm going to wait and see. Those 25,000 Aragonese troops are going back to Calais, so we're going to take this battle in Caen and immediately reinforce with troops in Caen. Again, we have the military tech level advantage, and so we should be doing okay. We are getting nice rolls, so that's very helpful. Wow, look at that. Another stack wipe, okay. That is really good news. That's the benefit of rolling a military tech level advantage in the early game. So I think we can siege down Chartres now. There's a question about whether or not I'll be able to siege down it before they're able to siege down the board. I don't think we are going to be able to. So I'm going to move this army back. Load it up into my transports in a moment. We could transport our 2 siege to Chartres now, but I actually don't think we need to. That'll come in more useful later on. Since we're using a mercenary general, we can assign that leader to the attached regular troops to army in Chartres later, but we don't have to do that now. So yeah, Laborde's looking a bit dicey. We're going to move down south, and we're going to force him off the objective. Hopefully it'll work. Mind you, now that we have a military tech level advantage, it wouldn't necessarily be detrimental taking this battle, but I want to try and save as much manpower as possible now. I mean, oh, okay. first big screw up of our game. We actually forgot, and this has happened to me many times before, very foolishly, we actually forgot to properly attach our army to that fleet. And I think the moment has passed. Yeah, I don't care about this. The moment has passed because now, as you can see, they have more troops on the board. So yeah, yep, that's a screw up. Not a major one, but it could be a problem if they do successfully siege down the board. And we are at 0 manpower now, and we're running low on mercenary manpower. So we may have to recruit a second mercenary unit. I'm trying not to because I don't want to completely just loot our economy with loans. I want to actually do this in a way where we haven't completely like ruined anything that comes after the 100 Years' War. Oh, and let me mention it, I'm not sure if I've mentioned this in the past. By winning 100 Years' War, I'm of course talking about enforcing a personal union with France. If we don't do that, then I don't even consider it a victory. So we need about 60% war score here. So the only way we do that is sieging down Paris. Yeah. We don't even take this engagement. Want to conserve as much manpower as possible, given it's dwindled so low. So we're just going to force them off the board, and we're going to continue down a siege at Chartres. And once that's complete, we'll move on and siege down Paris. Things are looking pretty good at the moment. I'm relatively confident we can do this. I've made videos like this before when in the final quarter, everything just goes catastrophically wrong and we have some disastrous battle, but yeah, we siege down Chartres. Remember to assign my 2 siege faction leader to the mercenary army, which means for siege purposes, the 2 siege faction leaders in control, and in pitch battles, the very highly skilled 6 shock mercenary general. So this is looking pretty good. I've gone from, I mean, you may have noticed in my voice at the very start of this, I had a slight degree of pessimism whether or not we were going to be able to pull this off. But I think it's looking pretty good now. And yeah, if we can siege down Paris and occupy a few of these provinces and maintain some type of naval blockade, I think we're going to just about get enough war score to be on the margins of a personal union victory. And this is where having, if you look in the top right corner in the diplomat screen, I have a spy network. Oh, no, diplomatic. Well, that's not really going to help us. We do have 100. Okay, Portugal has been defeated. That's actually really good. And Paris has fallen. And the reason why that's good is Portugal was dragging our war score down. We can't sue for peace with Aragon. Well, we can, but we don't want to give him that. We're sure as hell not giving him the board to Aragon. No chance. We're not even giving him more reparations. I'm just interested to see what they would accept. With Portugal gone now, that tips the war score more into our favour. Can we achieve a personal union victory now? Oh, it's so close. We're 10 off. I need to get this done quickly, and the reason why there's so much urgency, although things look great for us, as soon as France hits military tech level 4, they will become hyper-aggressive, and they will be able to crush our armies, absolutely crush them, because they just have straight-up better armies in this stage of the game. So we're just below. Again, we have to be really quick. We can't afford to muck about. If they hit military tech level 4, yeah, we're 9 off. If we hit military tech, if they hit military tech level 4, I mean, it's going to cause us problems is what I'm trying to say. I just don't want that happening. So let's blockade. I think we're probably not going to be able to get enough military war score just by occupying provinces alone. So I'm going to see, having left Paris last jousting tournament, that's excellent news for us. That's going to really help us. Because I think we're going to take one more big battle, have to take one more big battle from the French in order to be able to do this. And I think we can do that in Paris. I think if we win this, I think we should They're still military tech level 3, we're 4. We've got last jousting tournament, we've got a better general, we've got more troops and a higher composition of cavalry. So long as the RNG gods don't completely screw us over, we should win this battle and we should complete our objective for today. So let's see how this goes. Everything to play for here. Not a great... So we've lost the first 2 rolls, lost the third, won the 4th. I think that's it. Maybe? There it is, folks. We have done it. Still got it after all these years. We have done it now. You're thinking to yourself, well, let's play on. Let's get an even better peace objective. No, because I know they're about to hit military tech level 4. We're going to peace out. Oh yeah, strategic control. Can't forget about that. We're going to peace out as soon as possible. Not even going to risk it. There we go. 84,000 casualties. We didn't even have a very good casualty ratio, but we have done it. We've actually done it at the year 1451, which is pretty damn impressive, actually. I mean, that's a good result, even in normal difficulty. So, and our loans, I mean, we only took out a few loans. This is like the first video I've ever done when we haven't completely bankrupted our economy. So, yeah, I'm pretty happy with this, to be honest. Yeah. I will take that. That is a nice victory. I hope you enjoyed this gameplay. It was actually a lot of fun to do, and whether I continue on with this save game, I don't know. All depends on the views, I guess. I do have plans on trying a Byzantine very hard start, so we'll see when it comes to time. I've been Oscar Mike. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.